I think it is a consensus position that the New England Patriots need to draft a wide receiver in the 2024 NFL Draft. In reality, they probably need to draft at least two. However, the Patriots cannot just draft any wide receiver. They actually need to be successful in finding a true wide receiver one, or perhaps a talented X or a dynamic Z receiver. Luckily, this draft is expected to be incredibly deep with several blue chip wide receivers at the top. I have over 200 wide receiver prospects ranging from first round all the way to UDFA for this draft. Although I'd love to spend some time and go through that list, I'm going to highlight my current top 25 wide receivers for New England. I'm going to spend some time and provide a brief overview of the top 10, and then highlight the other 15. Alright, leading off, Marvin Harrison Jr. He is 6'4", 205 pounds out of Ohio State. He comes from a storied football lineage, being the son of an NFL Hall of Fame wide receiver, Marvin Harrison. In the 2022 season, he made a compelling case for the Blitnikoff Award, amassing an impressive 1,263 yards, 14 touchdowns on 77 receptions. His athletic prowess is evident with a remarkable shuttle time of 30.94, a broad of 10.8, and a potential top-tier speed clocking in at the high 4.3s. The pedigree, the stats, and the testimonials all affirm Harrison's exceptional talent, and it supports him being a top-tier prospect destined to be a high draft pick. In my view, Harrison already stands out as the most well-rounded player at his position. At 6'4", 205 pounds, Harrison possesses all the physical attributes in abundance. His frame is distinguished by its length. He has crazy agility, coupled with impressive explosive capacity and speed to pose a vertical threat. His exceptional flexibility combined with physicality allows him to consistently outmatch defensive backs. Of note, there are few receivers of Harrison's stature that possess the hip flexibility and the adaptability he brings to the field, which he combines with sharp spatial awareness and precise route running and efficient footwork to consistently outplay defenders one-on-one. His acceleration after offsetting at the stems is absolutely incredible. It is effortless and extreme, and his body control and coordination are of the highest caliber. Now, on the downside, Harrison may not excel in creating yardage after catch. It stands out to be one of the few minor critiques in his profile. At 6'4", though, he's a rare route savant, dominating against smaller defenders in contested catch situations. Now, for the Patriots, you're looking at someone who's poised to be an impact X receiver from the outset in the NFL. He also boasts the versatility to excel in movement in the Z spot. So, an actual true number one alpha wide receiver. With a combination of physical prowess and meticulous attention to detail, Harrison holds the potential for an all-pro career. Unfortunately, it's probably going to require the Patriots to have a top 3 pick to get him. Next, number 2, Keon Coleman. He's 6'4", 215 out of Florida State. Now, his journey has been marked by versatility across multiple sports, but his football prowess is crazy. Keon possesses a lab-built physique with exceptional size, length, compact mass, and frame density. This guy is solid. While it might be an ambitious projection after just one standout season, Coleman has exhibited several translatable traits throughout 2022 and into 2023, demonstrating proficiency across all 3 levels. At 6'4", 215 pounds, Coleman is a surprisingly comprehensive 3-level threat. He's able to outmatch defensive backs in all aspects. Now, his most marketable trait is his exceptional catching ability. He just seems to come down with the ball. He possesses the natural ability to box out defenders and extend beyond his size with remarkable catch point instincts. He's just able to contort his body with great hand-eye coordination and a very highly proactive alpha mentality. This guy is an elite contested threat player, but he also brings value as a separator and run-after-catch weapon. As a route runner, he skillfully manages his releases, utilizing foot speed, quick twitch, and targeted physicality to gain separation. After the catch, he combines explosiveness, one-cut agility, contact balance, and physicality to challenge defensive backs. This guy's hard to bring down. While there's some room for refinement in his route running skills, and his long speed is rated as decent rather than elite, Coleman is ultimately an explosive, fleet-footed, and flexible athlete given his size. He presents a boundary alpha from day one with enhanced separation skills and yards after catch. This is the guy the Patriots essentially have needed for years, actually more like a decade. Now, after that, there's Malik Nabers at number 3. Now, Malik has kind of transformed his physique. Early in his college career, he was like low 190s, and now he's around 200 pounds. Yeah. And yes, college rosters tend to be very generous with their measurements. But if you do look at the pictures and the videos, the guy has gained some serious mass on his frames over the years. Now, Nabers is a great all-around athlete. He's boasting a reported 4.44 40-yard dash with a 38-inch vert. On the field, he has a gritty playing style exhibiting more physicality than his build would suggest. He's got natural quickness, and he's able to create separation. His exceptional balance when under contact for his size. He also exhibits impressive lateral agility, particularly when carrying the ball. He's got good vision as a ball carrier, and he displays noteworthy body control and flexibility when going into contested catch situations. And the guy's got good grip through contact. He gets hit, he still holds on to that ball. And he has deceptively good long-distance speed down the field. On the downside, the guy doesn't exactly have the greatest route tree, and his execution needs to be refined. His run blocking is not great. This is why I have him a little bit lower than Keon Coleman. But for the Patriots, Nabers brings forth enhancements in the finer nuances that distinguished a great receiver from one who is truly elite. Nabers might be a great grab in the mid to late first round if they're looking for a versatile receiver. After that, I have Emeka Ebuka. Again, another 6'1", 205 guy. He's from Ohio State who brings versatility. In 2022, Abuka racked up 74 catches for 1,151 yards and 10 touchdowns, while also adding 87 yards and 2 scores on 11 carries. As both a yak weapon and as a surgical independent separator, Abuka has an extremely enticing potential that puts him on my top 5 for wide receivers, and he rests right on that blue chip fringe amongst all players in this draft. Abuka is a 3-level threat to his physical tools and his route versatility. As an athlete, Abuka is extremely explosive, fluid, and flexible, with more than enough vertical speed. What I really like about him is his ability to maintain top-end speed through cuts and redirection. He can sear and slice his way through zone coverage, but he also has intentional movement, snappy suddenness, and spatial awareness to win in man coverage. At the catch point, he is hyper-instinctive converter with rare coordination and reaction speed, and after the catch. He's a 205-pound weapon with balance and urgency. Now, his teammate Harrison projects to be the X role. Abuka could be dynamic at the Z receiver with near unmatched alignment and usage versatility. The guy's an offensive weapon. I could see the Patriots being able to scheme him into touches on jet sweeps, swings, drags, screens, and other short routes. But he also has the full route tree and complete skill set to be employed in countless other ways. With his high-end tools and his ability to blend into many different roles, Abuka is a no doubt round 1 prospect for New England. After him, we're getting a little bit bigger. We got Odunze, 6'3", 217. Odunze has faced some stiff competition from Jalen McMillan, yet emerged as the standout receiver for Washington. He delivered a career best last season, amassing an impressive 75 receptions for 1,145 yards and 7 TDs. Now, Odunze would be characterized by his playmaking ability. Odunze stands out for me due to his exceptional twitch and focus. Odunze's ability to reel in passes within his extensive catch radius is remarkable. He has potential to elevate an average quarterback to being a better quarterback, who does face challenges with their pinpoint accuracy. For the Patriots, Odunze's size and unique skill set should make him a target in the first round, especially with another standout season so far this year. For the Patriots, I think Odunze's size and unique skill set should make him a target in the first round. I think the Patriots may provide a more fertile ground for him to expand and refine his game versus what they're doing with him in Washington. I could see him excelling on underneath routes and being incorporated into a more concerted effort to create space for him and get some yak. I'm not sure if the Patriots would target him in the first round, but he's definitely at least a day 2 target for them. After that, there's Xavier Legette. This guy's stock has surged this season. He is a behemoth on the field, reminiscent of those powerful Big X receivers of the bygone era. He embodies the style of play where physical dominance was wielded against defensive backs, back when they allowed the game to be a little bit more physical. Legette is resembling a tight end on the outside. It's clear that he's continued growing while others have already reached their full height. Like many exceptional athletes in high school, Legette operated on quarterback during his senior year. Now, as of October, Xavier Legette has already experienced a remarkable surge in his draft stock, rising from basically the middle of my draft board all the way up to basically a first or second round pick. However, the buzz surrounding him remains somewhat subdued compared to more established names. I think this is crazy because the NFL has evolved into a speed-driven game where the route running remains crucial, yet teams are increasingly employing deep crossing patterns to confound modern coverages, a role where Legette seems to absolutely excel. This guy's game is perfect for the NFL. This doesn't imply that he falters as a route runner. He's got really great start and stop abilities combined with a keen understanding of how to exploit blind spots and defensive back leverage. It has enabled him to achieve impressive separation at his size. The dude has legit on-the-field speed, hitting 22.3 against Mississippi State. That's the highest mark in college football through the first 5 to 6 weeks of play. There's a genuine possibility that Legette transforms from a relatively unknown into a first-round pick, even amidst this draft class, which is exceptionally deep. I think the Patriots really should consider grabbing him, possibly trading back into the first. After that, I have Johnny Wilson, a 6'7", 237-pound wide receiver from Florida State. Johnny Wilson possesses a truly superlative build and an athletic profile that almost every NFL team is going to be taking a look at. A fact that has been confirmed at various levels of career. This guy is big and long and fast. From his impressive high school achievements where he ran the 40-yard dash in the 4.5 range at 6'7". This guy's nuts. He's got 36-inch arms, a 35.5-inch vert, a 10-foot, 5-foot broad jump, and a max speed of over 21 miles per hour. Now, some people believe Wilson's positioned to be a mid-day 2 prospect, but the Patriots might be an early mover on this guy because of such unique talents and his ability to actually block. Yeah, I look at that. However, I will admit his role projection and physical profile are more confined and specialized compared to other receivers that are this high up on the board. So you would say he might be a little niche. But he is standing at an opposing 6'7", and he's nearly 240 pounds, and those 36-inch arms. This guy's catch radius is huge. Wilson is a towering spectacle with overwhelming size and length. It's crazy. Additionally, he's got remarkable athleticism for that size. This is evident in his quick acceleration. He has instant stride elongation and with an impressively long stride that consistently threatens defenders downfield. Moreover, Wilson's physical profile, both during and after the catch, presents a formidable challenge for the defenders. His frame allows him to box out defensive back, and his length enables him to overcome contested catch situations. Wilson is a powerful force after the catch, leveraging his physicality, tenacity, leg churn, and mass, enhanced by his explosive play. The guy is a problem. He's a true blend between a big, tall, powerful tight end and a quick and twitchy wide receiver. He can be labeled as an offensive weapon because his versatility is his key asset. He can line up on the boundary, in the slot, or hug the line, providing additional value as an elite blocking presence. Now, on the downside, his operational traits do introduce an element of uncertainty. While Wilson demonstrates proficiency in zone separation, displaying an excellent spatial awareness and a window IQ, his tall, linear build primarily limits him to hitches, crossers, and mostly vertical concepts. Additionally, there are occasional lapses in his hand technique, with hands too wide at the catch point, resulting in body catches and drops. Despite these drawbacks, New England might see that Wilson stands out as a devastating dual-sided run after the catch and deep threat for the NFL offense. His physicality overwhelms defenders, and he possesses the true speed and explosiveness to capitalize on plays. Again, he might be niche, but he also might be the perfect fit for New England. After that, Adonai Mitchell. Now, Adonai Mitchell is 6'4", 190 from Texas. He brings a combination of strong hands, competitiveness, and run-after-the-catch capability to his game. Now, there has been improvements in his route running and his catching technique. His potential for growth is still evident. Mitchell's ability to track balls effectively and contribute as a return man adds value to his profile. His performance at Texas indicates the potential for a promising future in the NFL. He has great hands, he's highly competitive, and he's really great at high-pointing balls. He demonstrates commendable initial quickness off the line of scrimmage, coupled with enough strength to consistently evade defenders attempting to press him. Mitchell is a coordinated hands catcher with adept tracking abilities, particularly downfield. Now, he's not exactly a speedster, but he's still fast, and he's great at catch and run situations. He transitions right upfield swiftly after securing the catch and utilizes speed to gain substantial yardage. He's got long arms, soft hands, he's got a violent running style. Now, and his frame allows him to get some potential weight gain at the NFL level. On the downside, he just doesn't really have those sharp cuts, and he doesn't really necessarily have all the great moves to create a lot of separation, especially on underneath routes. So there is some room to improve. There are other lapses in play where he fails to use his hands and tends to use his body to secure deep throws. But I really, really like him as an asset that can work the middle of the field, and the fact that he's a solid return specialist. I like Mitchell for the Patriots maybe in the second round. He has a solid ceiling way above him, but I think we could see some bust potential in there. That being said, I'm more of like a day 2 on him. Next is Xavier Worthy, 6'1", 172 from Texas. Now, Xavier Worthy made an immediate impact upon arriving at Texas. This guy has been solid. This guy's got impressive tape, and he's got impressive stats. At the beginning of the season, he had the 3rd most touchdowns in the program's history. Yeah, at Texas. With Worthy's considerable experience, it's plausible to envision him as an early impact at the professional level, but yet he's still really young. He'll be turning 21 during draft weekend. He bears resemblance to players like Zay Flowers, who, despite being lean, boast explosive abilities that enable him to create separation swiftly. In the evolving landscape of the modern NFL offenses, there is increasing preference for talent with his nature. Worthy's playing style is intriguing, defined by an unusually assertiveness mindset towards the ball despite his physical limitations. While he may not possess elite athleticism beyond his acceleration, he demonstrates attributes that should allow him to earn at least a solid second-round grade for the Patriots. The primary question surrounding Worthy pertains to his peak potential. Without a substantial increase in play strength or development of deep speed capabilities, he's likely to excel more as a threat on short and intermediate routes, rather than as a player who can consistently stretch the field. This assessment is influenced by his relatively lighter weight. He's under 190 pounds. Last year he was weighed in at 165 and he's only up to 172. I like Xavier, I like how he plays, but there is also that question, is he another Tyquan Thornton? I wouldn't mind if they took him in the second round though. Now, number 10, Malachi Corley. 5'10", 211 pounds. Again, 5'10", 211. This guy's solid. He's from Western Kentucky. Now, he had a modest high school career with only 37 catches in 15 games. However, he still was considered one of the more formidable playmakers in the nation because he was a wide receiver and a running back. Now, last season at Western Kentucky was his second full season where he got 101 receptions for 1,295 yards and 11 touchdowns. He's solid. Now, watching this guy's tape, for me, I see Malachi to be the Patriots' version of Deebo Samuel. Like Samuel, Corley possesses a lower center of gravity and an uncanny ability to break tackles. These are qualities unusual at the position. In an NFL that is increasingly favoring quick passing strategies, Corley's value escalates. Malachi marries his formidable strength with his impressive acceleration, enabling him to elude direct hits and nullify pursuit angles. This has prompted Western Kentucky to maximize involvement from the slot and on screen plays. Up until the 2023 season, Corley served as more of an offensive weapon than a conventional receiver. Hopefully, the Patriots see his distinctive play style and his record and tape and his strengths, while also recognizing the need for patience in refining other facets of his game. The problem for the Pats is that Malachi could be drafted in the late first round, maybe all the way even to the third round. Given the uncertainty in projections for the players of this type, I think the Patriots should go after him in the second, possibly trading up in the second to get him. Now, other top 25 receivers that I have on my list. Number 11, Troy Franklin out of Oregon. Tall, fast, great hands, versatile as a triple level threat. J. Michael Sturdivant. Big, tall wide receiver out of UCLA. Does a great job on the boundary. Does pretty well going across the middle, but man, that sideline catches, this guy's got it. DeCorian Clark or JT Clark. UTSA. Another wide receiver 1 potential. This guy just shakes defenders. Solid wide receiver. Number 14, Jalen McMillan out of Washington. Speedster, I believe he's 6'1", supposed to be going out around 4.3. Antoine Wells Jr. out of South Carolina. He's been going up and down on my board. I see some things I like, some things I don't. Could be a solid receiver, versatile in terms of alignments and his levels. Torrey Horton out of Colorado State. This guy going across the middle is a problem for a lot of defenses. He just slices them up, and he's big, tall, and fast. Number 17, Ricky Pearsall from Florida. He probably has the most impressive catch thus far in the college football season. Nice little one-handed Odell Beckham Jr. style catch. That being said, though, he's fast, good route runner, and obviously has a good set of hands. After that, number 18 is Dorian Singer out of USC. He's benefited very much from Caleb Williams being in the house, but that being said, he's a well-rounded receiver with good stats and good tape. Moose Muhammad III from Texas A&M. Again, another versatile wide receiver who can play both in the X and the Z. Roman Wilson, Michigan. I like this guy. Some people have him really low on their board. I have him pretty high because he just seems to run really nice, crisp routes, finds the right spot, has good, solid hands, and he's tough. He takes a beating. Number 21, Julian Fleming from Ohio State. He's been a little buried, obviously, because you have Emeka Ebuka and Marvin Harrison Jr. But if you watch him play, this guy is big, tall, fast, does a great job with blocking. He is more than versatile. It's impressive. I'd like to see him being picked up maybe in that like 4th round range. After that, we have number 22, Jacob Cowing, wide receiver from Arizona. Probably one of the more elite slot guys in this year's draft. Quick, fast, twitchy. I have him lower on my list right now just because we have Demario Douglas. I'm not saying we can't get another slot guy, but for us, obviously the bigger, taller X and Z receivers is what we're looking for. That being said, though, if he's still there in like the 4th round, you can't let him pass. After that, number 23, Brendan Rice from USC. Yes, Jerry's son. Now, being Jerry's son, I'd think he'd get more attention, but he's not. Again, just like his father, a really well-rounded receiver, and he's big, tall, and he's supposed to run like a 4.3. He's not getting like all the stats because USC's wide receiver core is really deep, and Caleb does a great job of spreading it out. So his physical abilities and talents are not being validated by his stats. Still, if you can get him like in the 4th round, that'd be a big win in my opinion. Now, number 24, Brew McCoy. I still have him on my top 25. I had him all the way up in like, I think the 15, 16 range at one point. He's like 6'3", 225 out of Tennessee. Again, just one of those Tennessee guys that's just really physical, great contested catch, tough dude. But unfortunately had a devastating ankle injury, very similar to Dak Prescott and Trey Lance. I don't know. I haven't really looked too much into what the damage is, but it's possible we might be able to get him in like, say, like the 5th round. Number 25 is Trey Harris, wide receiver from Ole Miss. Now, I am a little bit lower on my draft board compared to others. Some people probably have him in their 15 to like 20 range. He's there just because, I don't want to say he's redundant, but he's a big, tall, wide receiver X. He's talented. Maybe the Patriots hold off on some of these other guys and they look for him in like the 4th to 5th round range. But after that, there's plenty of other guys to mention. There's also Ladd McConkey from wide receiver from Georgia, Bo Collins from Clemson, Jalen Polk from Washington, Cornelius Johnson from Michigan, Austin Watkins Jr., UAB, Jaquan Burton from FAU, Dominic Levitt from Georgia, Malik Washington from Virginia, Malik Benson from Bama, Robert Lewis from Georgia State. He looks solid. Ja'Cory Brooks from Bama, Zachary Franklin from UTSA, Devontae Walker from North Carolina, Luke McCaffrey. Interesting guy to keep an eye on, former Nebraska quarterback, now playing wide receiver at Rice. Another really great slot receiver I'm looking at is Smoke Harris out of Louisiana Tech, Xavier Gilroy from Arizona, Elijah Badger from Arizona State, Jordan Whittington, another guy from Texas that's just being buried, Dante Cephas from Penn State, Caden Prather from Maryland, seems to be a good slot guy. JoJo Earl from TCU, Jaden Bray from Oklahoma State. And all those names, that's not even halfway through my list of wide receivers for this upcoming draft. Now, to return back to the top, all these guys probably could be available in the first few rounds. Let's just take a moment and do some mock drafts and see what we get. All right, going to be doing some mock drafts here for the Patriots. Picking 5th, looking for wide receivers, right? So obviously we have to expect Marvin Harrison Jr. to be, top 3 pick. That's leaving us Brock Bowers, Leatu Latu, Joe Alt. I'll say this right off the bat. Brock Bowers, although a tight end, spends most of his time basically in these wide receiver alignments. He does come in tight. He even comes into the backfield as an H-back sniffer. He's even lined up straight up for a fullback and has actually received a handoff to rush it. So to me, Brock Bowers is a lot more than just a tight end. He's an offensive weapon. And his stats show that. He's, even though he's a tight end, at one point he was top 10. I think he's like top 20 now for yardage, for receiving yards in college football. So we can't sit here and just because he's got TE and he's number 1 on the depth chart at the tight end position for Georgia, we got to think of him as an offensive guy. These Kamara types where they just do just about everything. Bijan Robinsons can just do just about everything. It just so happens that they don't have a WR next to their name, and that should not devalue them so much because Brock Bowers is a needle mover. Leatu Latu, needle mover. In fact, if you go down this list, you can probably go... There's a few guys in here I'd have to maybe say yes or no to, but for the most part, once you get down to like 30, 40 area, yeah, maybe in the 40s, almost all these guys are needle movers. So the Patriots need to think about, I think, this draft because it's so deep and so strong at the top all the way through. So meaning in the 4th round, you're probably getting third round talent, maybe 2nd round talent in certain positions. So I think amassing as many picks as possible is critical to this draft. The Patriots are going to have plenty of free agents this offseason. So amassing draft capital as much as possible is probably a smart move. Because we might need to draft. We might need to replace mostly through the draft, and because they might be better options. Because I think in some cases our free agents are near the top end of, their positions for free that are going to be in the free agent draft. So if we don't want them, we don't want to pay them what they're asking for, the better options out there are probably going to be even more expensive, and I'm not sure they're that much better. So the draft to me is definitely the key this year. So raising draft capital, and both in terms of, probably trading away some of our assets if we're in really bad shape in a couple weeks, and during the draft, meaning trading, like everybody hates him for doing this, but I am with Bill Belichick. Trading back is probably a good idea. If you're looking at valuations, if you can get more, say you trade back in the first, you get a 1st round pick and a 2nd round pick for moving back like a handful of spots, or like maybe 5 or 6 spots, and you get like an extra 2nd, maybe even a 3rd round pick out of it. That's totally worth it in my opinion, because although I'd really like to get Joe Alt or Brock Bowers or Leatu Latu or Kool-Aid McKinstry or all of these guys, I could still trade back, and we could pick up a Jerzon Newton. Trust me. Godchow looks like he's done. Leonard Taylor, same thing. Done. We still need a free safety. Obviously, to me, Keon Coleman's one of the top wide receivers in the draft. You get him in the 17s. Beautiful. Dallas Turner, basically Will Anderson Jr. Hasn't been great this year in terms of numbers, but his play is solid. I mean, you see what I'm saying? If you can move down in this draft and pick up another, top 50 or maybe 2 top 100 picks, oh my gosh, totally worth it. Anyway, that being said, let's get into the draft. I'm talking too much. See if this would be a great example. We go with the Jets, and they give 75 is a little bit too far. Let's see, anybody else? 18. That's probably not good enough. Who's got the better idea here? It's 11 and 75. See, 18 I'd be pushing. I want to get Keon Coleman, so let's do this. So we lost that. That's fine. I'm okay. I'm not freaking out because I'm gonna be actually okay with Odunze. 37 should give us. Did we really just miss? Wow, they moved them up. Where'd Mims go? Oh, 31. Shoot. Xavier Legette. Easy. Done with wide receivers already. 48. Patrick Paul. Beautiful. Big mauler. Can play left, but I'd probably move him at right. Jake Daniels, Stutzman, Cedric Van Pran's one to think about. What should we do here? What should we do here? Jack Sawyer's solid. I'm going to hold off on quarterback right now. To me, Cedric Van Pran in the third round is solid. Stutzman's pretty good too. Guyton, I can put him in too as well. Maybe we go with Tyler. Still maybe get Cedric. If we don't get Cedric, we can go with Byron or Javon Bullard. J. Michael we don't need anymore. We're good with wide receivers. TJ Tampa, if I can get him, wow, at 82, that'd be great. All right, so I'm not freaking out here. Let's go Guyton, and then if Cedric's gone. Yep. Okay, so Bullard. Still got Stutzman up there, huh? Guy's been balling out this year. He looks like a beast too. Javon Bullard definitely plays corner safety. I don't know about his numbers though. TJ Tampa is really impressive. I think I'm gonna go with Javon Bullard. It's probably the better pick right now. Ismail Mondon, legit coverage wide receiver. Cover linebacker. Can we pick Will Shipley? Is Cooper Beebe in here? Yes, he is. All right, so let's probably go with Joe. I'd really like to pick up Will Shipley for a pass catching wide receiver, and then go with Joe Milton or Jaheim Bell. Probably that. Kate Stover is probably still in here too. Yeah, still loaded in here. See, that's the thing. This is 4th round pick, and I'd be frothing here. Man, Will Shipley's probably the better option here. Yeah, we're gonna go with that because I think They getting James Williams in 121, man. That's nuts. Jaheim Bell at 119. I can't believe this. Tyleek Williams at 122. This is nuts. Zach Frazier is a center. He's second best center at 130. Keith Randolph at 138. Sanders still is in 137? Dude, this I cannot stress to you how deep this draft is. Malachi Moore, who looks absolutely, I probably should have got saved on Bullard, and then Cole Bishop is down in 150. Near 150. This draft is absurd. I can't imagine. If there's guys, there's probably going to be this situation where there's a lot of guys who probably have another year of eligibility. They might be going back. Especially if they have an NIL, they got some money coming in, and they're getting ranked in like the 100s, and they're not going to get a big time contract. If next year's draft class does not look as strong as this one, I think there's going to be a lot of guys that could be going out that could be eligible for this draft might roll over to the next. This is just absurd. And that could happen at the very, very top, just so everybody knows. I have to get Joe Milton. Just have to. We have to get a quarterback. And he won't survive another round. All right, so sorry that took forever. Take home here for wide receivers is you can transform your offense in like 1 or 2 picks. Now, I traded back to try to get as much as we can so we could just try to show you how many guys there are throughout the draft that we would probably want. But if we did narrow this down, I would go with Malik Nabers here or Keon Coleman earlier instead of trading back. Yeah, probably the better move in terms of being safe. But Rome Odunze and picking up this, think about this, right? Now, if this was real life, which I can't imagine this actually happening, but deep down inside, if I think about it, is Keon Coleman worth another third, a fourth, a fifth, a second rounder next year, a third rounder next year, another first round? Well, yeah, we traded him back. So essentially we're getting a third, fourth, fifth, a second, a third, another second this year, and a fourth, essentially, right? To still get a Rome Odunze. I could have got Keon probably right here, right? Or no, we missed on Keon, that's why. But Keon was basically this, and then to take the chance to go back and still get 2 first round. I would say Xavier's looking to be a first rounder. First round level grade receivers, 1-2, and still be able to pick up solid tackles. One of these guys will probably be able to start, and the other guy being a depth piece. That's fine. And to me, the way they move and the way they play, they'll probably be better than the guys we have now. Both in terms of Trent Brown, Vidarian Lowe, even Owenu probably out there. These guys are, in terms of tape and the way they move and the way they're built, yes, good tackles. Nothing against the guys. I like Vidarian Lowe. I think he can develop. And Trent Brown, I have my issues with how he plays, and not necessarily plays, but the inconsistency and the slothness about him that just bothers me sometimes. But anyway, yeah, and that allowed us to pick up a safety that we've been definitely need. I think it's obvious that we need another safety out there. Adrian Phillips is done. I like Mills playing there now, but still just not great. We need a coverage linebacker. It's been a major issue on the defense for a long time. Will Shipley, pass catching, quick. He's also quick. He could be a solid ball carrier, but picking that guy up in the 4th is a steal. And then, although there's a bunch of you probably saying, why didn't we pick up a quarterback earlier? Well, we kind of I think we need these things, and this is in the assumption that we still probably need Mac. Mac is going to come back. But Joe Milton, 6'5", with an absolute howitzer attached to his arm. Good ball, too. Good ball placement. Probably still needs to work on, the finer details of managing an offense. I shouldn't say the finer. He might need some more. He's raw. We'll say that. He's still pretty raw. But I haven't seen anything that's saying he can't play at a higher level anyway, right? All right, let's do one more. And no trades, just straight through, right? So I would, in this case, probably go with Olu Fashanu. So where should we target a wide receiver? Now, if JT Tuimoloau is still on there, I would probably target him or Jatavian Sanders, Riley Leonard, or honestly Penix Jr. is probably the best move here. But I don't think he'd be there. But we're gonna make believe that he is in real life. I don't know. PFF might have that right. All right, so here, this is a no-brainer to me. See, this would be to me would be a great draft. And if we can get Blake Fisher, awesome. Or to court JT Clark. Let's weigh this out. Probably want to go with JT. Right, we got Olu. We got a quarterback. Jamari Thrash is more of a deep threat. Like, I'm good with all these guys right straight through. Christian Mahogany's pretty good too. I mean, to me, JT Clark just looks a little bit better. I'm going with him. And then, you know, you could still pick up like Roman Wilson's, Julian Fleming's, which are further down. Still pick up. I mean, I would not hate picking up 2 tackles, 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and then that, I mean, fill in the quarterback, D tackle, linebacker, corner, safety. But we need all of them. You know, guard might be one of the few positions where we're starting to sure up. But even then, if there's a good guard left on the table, and that's in your grading system is higher than anything else on the board that's available, you gotta be able to get these needle movers, guys that like we can't have. You know, it turns out these guys suck, right? You drafted them because, oh, we need this guy, but it turns out that they suck. So I'd rather, if you go into your second or third string at the guard position, we never roll into truly sucking, right? Like wide receiver, like we're depth wise, I think, you know, these are a lot of decent wide receivers, decent. We don't have the very top end. I get it. So, like, we've been able to eat away our wide receivers have been getting beat up consistently, and we're still putting out every Sunday professional football players at the wide receiver position. Some are more beat up than others. Some are more, you know, just completely melted as physically, and they're done. They're busted, cooked, whatever you want to say. That's true, but it's not absolutely like some of these other teams where if you lose 1 or 2 guys in their wide receiver core, they are absolutely done, like for the season. Like the team there's nothing there. They're that. Whereas the Patriots are at least deep enough where you could lose like 4 guys and still field a team, and you know, be operable receivers. None of them being ones, but still. Still there. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. We'll end on this one. This one I'd love. I know most people are probably going to be like, oh, Western Kentucky, UTSA. Go watch them. Go watch those guys. Now, again, you're getting them in the 3rd and 4th round. And you can hate picking up one of these guys in the 3rd or 4th round, but are you going to argue picking up Olu Fashanu? Well, you might not know who him, but I mean, he's arguably the best tackle in the whole draft, and Michael Penix is probably a top 3, 4, you know, depending how you look, quarterback in the draft, right? This would be if we need to really consider replacing Mac next year. This is how, and give this guy a shot, you know, a left tackle and then 2 guys to throw to with unique talents. This is perfect. This is it. This is the year. This is the year where you load up on legit wide receiver talent, because next year, if we're talking about valuations, right? Next year, we might not have any wide receivers that are worth drafting next year. This is the year when you have crazy amount of depth. I will say I have over 200 guys that you could take between the first round all the way to UDFA. And they're valued there. You're going to have guys. I'm sorry, before we get into it, I want to show you. I was looking at this. Again, let's just do this. Sorry, messing this up. Just going to wide receivers. Look at the number that they have ranked. 172 for Jacob Cowling. I think he's a third-round talent. Julian Fleming, to me, is a second, third-round talent, 159. Ron Gadsden is, to me, a second-round talent. Yeah, he's more of a tight end. Pearsall, second, third-round talent. He's injured, by the way. That's why he's dropped so much. Brew McCoy's still holding up here. He had 122. He just snapped his ankle over. It's completely, dislocated, broken. I actually don't know what the final diagnosis is there. But Troy Franklin, to me, could be a first-round talent. Jalen McMillan, also a potential first-round talent. Roman Wilson, second or third. These guys are just pushing towards the end of the 100s. Now, you're saying, well, maybe they have it wrong. This is PFF. Now, let's just quickly do this. Tight end's a bad example, but offensive tackle, who's down here? Oh, I have both of them in there. Sorry. Yeah, like Javon Foster's rated one of the top tackles this year in terms of his protection and his stats. It's 155. Jack Nelson, I would have put him as a third rounder. Blake Fisher's is arguably a second round pick. It's so dense right now. It's so loaded. Safety. I had him as a second or third rounder. Second, third rounder. He's a 150. 150. This guy probably would have been a third rounder last year. Same thing with Cole. Probably would have been a second or thirder. Crazy. Corners. This is coming off last year's corner. It's kind of hard to say, but even TJ Tampa, Makuba in the 80s. That's a steal. This guy getting at 137, probably a third round pick. D tackles. Keith Randolph is he's at 138. Again, somebody that I would probably give a second, third round to it. Tyleek is another guy, again, kind of a third round. Tavondre Sweat's monstrous nose tackle. Same thing with Stackhouse. J. Michael Hall's gives me Micah Parsons vibes. So, what's the go to the wide receiver situation, which is, don't freak out if we go a completely different route, because I know you guys probably don't know these names. But these guys can play on the NFL field. These guys we won't be able to be able to really draft these guys. But if the Patriots go without drafting any wide receivers in the first round, or the second or third, and it's day 3, and you're like, what's going on? And they haven't touched anybody, wide receiver yet. Tavian Sanders, it'd be tight end, be worth it. But everybody's sitting here freaking out that we haven't gone out and secured a wide receiver yet. Go with Smale, but right now. So what's this go down to 33, right, or something? 37 with comps. So if we picked him and then him, or him and him, or that, you could pick 3 guys in the remaining rounds and still walk away with some solid wide receivers. I wouldn't go that route. I think you need to kind of actually target one in the first 2 rounds. But it wouldn't be the end of the world, because in this case, we've, so far in this draft, addressed the left tackle. Got a good tight end just in case one's gone. Good move tight end. Or are we 69, right? Or something like that. What was our pick? Yeah, picked up so we have 2 tackles. And in this case, we don't even have to pick up. We can pick up a edge player, right? I think he's leading the FBS in sacks. Or a quarterback or something there. And still have a shot at picking up some solid wide receivers. Anyway. I hope this was at least entertaining. Educational, of course. I think maybe one of the big takeaways is the Patriots need to amass as much draft capital as possible. Obviously, the 2 ways of really doing that is either in a couple weeks here, maybe considering getting rid of some of our players, unloading some of these guys in the final year of the contract that could come help some of these teams that are beat up that have playoff potential. Any of these teams that are really looking for one of those last few guys that can add some depth. We have a lot of guys that I'd like to see return next year, but if they can get something for them, like a good not first round, but if you can give me at least one, maybe top 150 for some of these guys, I'd be okay with it. Because I think this year, the draft, I think you just need to take advantage of what it can be. And we got to get younger and quicker and more twitchier. And if you're not trading for them, and the free agent market next year is decent in some positions, but not all. So if there's a position that you think you want to upgrade, and the best way to do it is in the draft. Now, going back to previous mocks that I did, the other way of getting draft capital is trading back. Again, I showed you what happens if you just want to trade back a few spots for some of these. Some of these teams really just want that one dude. But to me, in this draft, I think it's about getting as much ammo as possible, because I think you need to get as many I think throwing as much as you can at the wall at the wide receiver position right now is important. You need to develop a wide receiver 1 through the draft, I think. I mean, it's great to possibly go pay for one or trade for one, but gosh, do we need to have some homegrown talent at that position. And then if one works out of 3, I'll still be happy. The other 2, maybe they're serviceable wide receivers, or maybe they turn out to be decent too, and then you have a whole wide receiver core on rookie contracts, and that's where all of a sudden you can make a serious run, because you're paying rookie contracts, and then you can go get some other players and you can pay them up. You can go get some good solid defensive players, tackles, do something about the quarterback position if you have to, right? Pay some big money to these guys. You can do that. But I think the wide receiver positions where this year you just gotta shotgun it, man. Just spread it out as much as you can. Try to get as many different types of players as possible. Try to find that wide receiver 1. Try to find the quick, shifty guy. Try to find the battling Rams, the yak guys, the shifty Z's. Guys that can cut up the defense, speedsters, all of them. Just try to get them all. Anyway, I hope this was at least, again, sorry that I keep going over this. At least this was educational. It was fun, something to talk about. I guess we'll be waiting to see what they do over the next couple weeks. I know, it's going to be interesting. That being said, if you guys like this content, please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.